Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
Good evening, YouTube. So I've been starting some of them like that. So.
That's good, catchy.
Yeah. So today is, I guess, a little bit more relaxed. I've been down at Justin's for a couple days. As most of you guys know, you've been kind of following along with some of the Instagram stuff. But what's like kind of par for the course for you, I guess, if people like to pick your brain on things and ask you questions. I've tried to maybe focus a little bit more and see if we can get a little bit more out of you on certain topics.
Indeed.
So marketing was one of them. The other topic is like the mental reading, which has been pretty high level. I'd like to get into some of that. So in the beginning, when you first started, and marketing is huge because it's branding, it's like who you are, it's all that. What did you do, or what did you do differently to really push that brand? What was the biggest impact, I guess, into building your...
Well, I would say for me, whatever I did, it's not the same today. Because we live in a different world today.
Yeah.
Back when I got in, it was... YouTube was kind of getting started, but it was not used like it is today at all. The other thing is forums was where it was at. Facebook didn't exist yet. You had King Snake forums, the BLBC. There's a couple others that are ballpythons.net. If you don't remember any of those.
I've seen the names. I've actually been to a couple sites, but never really drilled down in.
Well, back then that was the only place you could really go, really. And so for me, my initial marketing was essentially, we had a few nice animals that we purchased early on. They were relatively rare animals, like things like pies and lavenders and clowns back when that was all that there was, right?
Big beans too.
Right, big, really expensive, some of them. And so initially it was interacting with people on forums, showing really nice photographs of those animals. Back then, those animals were relatively rare enough that it was a significant amount of buzz. People appreciated seeing them because there was that few of them out there, and we hadn't seen all the variations of clown per se. You hadn't seen all the variations of hides and some of that. I happen to have a really reduced pattern clown, and people just love that snake, and I love that snake because back then reduced pattern clowns were really unusual. Really unusual. So I just kind of put it out there, and I tried to interact with people a lot. And back then it was just basically showing that, hey, I'm a real person. I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to learn from people, and that positive interaction, the same way we have today a little bit.
But probably a lot harder to track. Because everybody can track likes, subscribers, followers.
Right.
And you didn't have any of that.
Nothing like that. No, there's no way to track that at all. The other thing is having a clear brand. I had a logo really early on. I used JKobylka Reptiles basically from the beginning, and basically back then especially, there wasn't that level of sophistication for very many people. So people thought automatically like, oh, this guy's legit, this guy's put some time and effort into it.
Big dog.
Right. Well, they say in business you fake it till you make it. And I'm not sure if that's exactly what I did, but I certainly put forward a professional persona before I was professional, per se.
I wasn't totally faking it.
not really.
You had the product to put in front of what you were talking about.
Correct. Correct. But the thing is that generally speaking, con artists don't spend a lot of time making websites for themselves and logos, and they're usually going after the low-hanging fruit. Right? They're on Craigslist.
Easy.
Right.
Stuff.
Right. So back then, there was a lot of concern from people like whether or not you're selling fake heads or real heads and that sort of thing. And so my initial goal was, hey, I want to be on the forums. I want people to see that I have high-end animals. There's no reason I'd be making fake heads if I have real visual animals, right?
You can see them.
They're there. They're right there. I have pies. I'm not going to be selling fake heads if I spent $20,000 on pies,
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Right. People who sell fake heads, they take pictures of pies from other people it's stolen. Right. So back then it was like, okay, I want to put myself out there. I'm going to seem legit. I'm going to seem like I have professional things. I'm selling a safe purchase from people. I'm going to show I really have the animals, and then just let that take its course. And that was enough to initially kind of get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
At that point, you're building a customer base. People start to come back and they talk to people, and it's just a slow moving thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So with that said, slow. Like one of the other questions I had was like, how long did it really take before people like knew who JKobylka Reptiles is?
That's a really good question, because the way I see it, still people don't know who I am. And it seems weird to say that, but
Well, they know your brand.
yes.
They may not
No,
know
I don't
you.
mean that. No, I don't even know who JKobylka Reptiles is. Because the way I look at it is this market is far bigger than the people who know me right now. I really believe that. So I always try to keep that kind of hungry, like I want to keep pushing, out there and letting people know who I am, positively. It's hard to say at what point most people in the ball python community start to know who I am.
Well, how about when you felt it, people kind of knew?
I still don't feel
You
that
don't
way.
feel that way?
No, I really don't. Because I told you earlier, every day I get emails from somebody saying, hey, Justin, have you ever heard of a Batman? I want to get one of those one day.
That's kind of
And
fun.
I'll be like, oh, yeah, they're awesome. That's usually what I do, because I don't want to be that guy. But the reality is, when that happens to me every day, I feel like, hey, there's more work to be done.
Sure.
There's
Yeah.
more work. And
Yeah, I mean, 'cause,
you never really know.
Yeah, well, we're in a society of like fast food, right? Even news on the TV is like this. Something happens in France, and almost immediately we know about it over here.
Right.
So, I mean, society in general is like moving toward like quick and dirty, really fast, and something that takes 5, 7, 20 years, and you still don't feel that. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with you because,
Right.
like,
Well, you see it as perspective.
yeah,
but-
perspective, my world. I mean, like I look at, well, and again, it's my perspective. I look at, like, if anybody is buying more than a pet in the ball python world, they have to know who you are. But with that said, I would have thought the same thing about Ben Rennick, because I've mentioned that several times across the table, because I have his animals and I'm producing babies with them, and I tell them, well, this is a Ben Rennick line, so it's a little bit of a special animal, and they're like,
The reality is that there's a lot of turnover as far as the people who are, not say in the industry, but there's always new people, lots of new people joining up. And a lot of times they learn who these people are based on the first people they see. The first breeder they come in contact with is the guy to them.
yeah,
And that's why I think all of us have responsibility when you find people who are local to you to really give them a good experience. But I've mentioned this a couple times in the past, but every so often there'll be one of those threads on Facebook where someone will say, shout out your favorite breeder.
yeah,
Right? Or, shout out your top 3 breeders or whatever. Okay? So, based on the conversation we were just having about people knowing me, I might show up on that list once or
wow,
twice
that's surprising.
out of 100 entries. Okay.
That's good. That's
Maybe
big market.
yeah, maybe it's so obvious. I don't know, but I think for most people, their names are filled with things I don't know. They're people they actually have had contact with in person, either at a show or whatever, and they think the world of that person. And that's a lot of responsibility. That's an amazing thing. That tells me that this business is very, very complex, and there's a lot of people to reach.
Yeah,
Still.
for sure. Let's see. How do you build interest with other people into what you're doing? I mean, because you're, in my opinion, you've got the marketing component like down, like it's under lock. And to me, that's like there's some science there where you're able through marketing to build an interest into what your interests are.
Yes. My marketing has been something that I've just done what works. I've done a lot of things that haven't worked over the years, and I will stop doing them. But I find out what people tend to resonate with. But I think the number one thing is having amazing photos and video and really capturing the animal. Because most of the morphs we make are pretty amazing. Not even just like gradient stuff, like even the basic stuff is really pretty impressive if you can capture it well. So that's important. But I think really what it comes down to is you have to be 100% sold on your own idea. You have to believe it to the extent that you don't come at it, the customer, with, yeah, I think these might become something in the future. This might be an interesting direction. But you can be like, these are awesome.
Yeah.
This is cool. This is what I'm doing. People want to be involved with somebody in some movement. They want to be involved with somebody that's going somewhere. And so if you're reticent, if you're not sure, if you're not sold on what you're doing, you're going to people are going to they'll be interested, but they're not going to necessarily put down their money, and they're not necessarily going to really buy in mentally to what you're doing. So that's where I feel like I've learned the most is I can't just put things out there. I gotta show my own passion for it. People resonate with that.
It's clear, and especially in like all the YouTube videos. Like I get sucked right in when you do a reveal or you cut an angle and you cut the film. Like it's genius. It's genius because you have to watch the next video. You have to. You can't if you're cutting an egg and going, oh my goodness. Yeah. Like if you're saying that, like I can't not go watch the next video. How about like a little more detail? We'll get into some maybe mentor breeding. Sure. A little bit. I mean, we'll not get crazy carried away. But so we've talked at a high level, and you've done podcasts with several people, and it's been mentioned that it could be a great thing. In what capacity would, in an ideal world, would a mentor relationship kind of look like, or how would that function?
Yeah.
Because I've been here for 2 days. I can clearly see in the time that you have here that there's no way you're going to be able to spend an hour or 2 hours on the phone walking somebody through breeding plans. Like that's, so I mean, what's reasonable, I guess, in that type of relationship?
Sure. It's hard to say. I'm not sure that I'm the best one to answer the question because I never had a mentor, so to speak, where there was an individual person who helped me. Like many people, when I got started, I was just absorbing information from so many people. And they're all mentors in the sense that they helped me, but they weren't aware because I was just absorbing the information they put out. And I kind of adopted that model for myself when I started doing the pro tips and the different YouTube videos. And I think if I can help people, great. But the nice thing about YouTube is it allows you to scale your efforts, right? So for people have also helped face to face, individual to individual, but that's not scalable. I can only help one person at a time.
Sure.
So I found that the best way is to put it out there, the information, and it might be a little bit kind of pieces here and there, but I think it's only if they're really interested, they will gather those the best they can. And I will answer tons of questions. I answer tons of personal questions every day. People who can't find a specific answer to something. But as far as having someone take you under their wing, that's a little tough because most mentorships are a situation where someone's taking you under the wing with the intention of you working for them or working side by side towards a goal or something like that. And that's the ideal situation.
Yeah, we talked about that too, and the difference is combined effort into one goal, one business. Right. Where the reptile industry, and you have multiple businesses, people go multiple directions. It gets a little more complicated than just
and like it or not, many people are running this as a business with the intention of making money. And that being the case, their advice to you might be heavily tinged with that information, knowing that they want you to buy into a certain project for their own sake. Yeah, so it's always going to look out for your best interests and not their own. And when there's money involved, that's hard to trust. Right. So I have a hard time saying, hey, go out and find a mentor that you can. Because depending on who you latch onto, it might be a very, very negative thing.
So you need to vet out that person. And you've said this a million times too. All we have is time. Right. I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting to know somebody for 6 months or a year.
Make it a friendship.
Yeah, and if that works,
the best mentor is going to be your friend.
Yeah,
and then you get to know somebody, know their character, and if you're friends with them, you have a much better chance. Yeah, I would say there's a much better chance that you're going to do okay. I've been burned by plenty of people too over the years. People I thought were friends, but the reality is that it's a much better option. And then don't like we talked about this in Miguel's video a little bit, is even if you have a mentor, you can't make their goals your goals.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite part of that whole video segment.
Right.
Was really where you guys went into, is it a father-son thing for bonding? And you guys you want to breed some snakes, or is your end goal to in 10 or 15 years maybe have like a little retirement thing you're going to do to keep yourself busy? Is it strictly just a hobby, or or in 6 months to a year, do you want to be like cranking out ball pythons like mad?
Right.
And each one changes. It's a different plan
For sure.
And if the person you're speaking to isn't lined up to what your end goal looks like, that may not be the best relationship.
And a good mentor also, as far as choosing projects, will not necessarily insist that you do what they're doing. They want you. A good mentor will say, "Hey, what is it about this that really gets you going? And how can we assist you in accomplishing your goals, right? And not mine as the mentor."
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, because in the end, that's no one's gonna not be burned out if you're following someone else's goals, someone else's things. You gotta believe in that. It's key to everything. It really is. I think deep down.
Well, sure, because it has to do with self. The whole longevity of it is self-satisfaction to some degree.
No,
it's
everything.
If you're not getting self-satisfaction out of seeing what you produce and doing, then you're just drudging through clean snake crap.
There's plenty of money in this business, but there's no amount of money that is worth the amount of work you do in this business if you don't enjoy it.
Right.
Not enough. Not for me.
Unless you have something else you want to add, I just have one more that could be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So in multiple podcasts and interviews, you've talked about your time in Africa, and you've alluded to near-death experiences, but you've never really shared any details. Is there anything you could kind of get into to be like, were you fending off lions while you're in Africa when you were at the water well?
People think that Africa is you have to watch out for the wildlife at times. The reality is that you probably have the same chance of being attacked by a lion in Africa as you do a black bear in Georgia. Right, they're at the same frequency. Yeah. You can go walking, you're going to be fine. It doesn't mean that it doesn't happen, but so it's relatively safe. Really, if anything you have to worry about is some of the more outlaw type elements, because there isn't necessarily a strong government in some areas. But my personal near-death experiences were both sickness related.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it something you mind getting into? Or
no, it's fine. I had a really bad drug interaction when I first got there, where I thought that I'd gotten. It was like being a Christian, I believe, is like an important life lesson. Like it was actually kind of meant to be, right? So I don't regret it now. But I had a whole series of events that led up to me getting really bad food poisoning. But in the moment, I was out in the village, 50 miles from any power, and anything, right? No doctors, nothing. And I didn't speak the language. I'd only been there a week. It was brand new. Just got stuck out there, and I'm laying on this mat on the floor, and I'm going to sleep, and I made a mistake. I put my flashlight face down, and I never turned it off. And I woke up in the middle of the night, like 2 a.m., and I was sick, like sicker than I've ever felt my whole life. I was just so sick. And of course, I'm disoriented, no light whatsoever except for moonlight. No candle, no nothing. And in my mind, it's just reeling. I never felt so bad. And I think, oh no, I have malaria. That was the big boogeyman sickness that they told us about. And so we had some medication to treat malaria when you got it.
Oh,
right.
They treated you for malaria and you didn't have malaria.
Right. Well, I treated myself for malaria.
That's even better.
So here I am on a mat in a hut with no light, no nothing, and I literally roll out of my hut. It's just mud,
Yeah.
I roll out of the hut, and I have this bottle of medicine they told me I could take if I had malaria. but I can't read it. I can't read anything on the bottle. I don't know if it's the right bottle. I don't know how much. Literally, I'm holding up to the moonlight and just waiting for a cloud to go by so I could see what it said. And I couldn't read it, so I was like, I'm just gonna take 2. 2 is always the answer, I took 2, and I just waited. And I'd say not more than 10 minutes later, I got so much worse. Like, ridiculously worse. To the point where my throat was swollen, my whole body started breaking out in hives, like having an allergic reaction to something.
Yeah.
And I was literally felt like I was dying. I could barely breathe because of the swelling and everything. And in that moment, I thought I'm going to die right here. 1 week into my trip into Africa.
There's something to flash in front of you.
Yeah. And at the time, it was, I learned a lot in that moment. A lot about people because being from America, going over there, it has nothing to do with race. You feel superior because of education. You feel like they don't know much.
Yeah.
So you just start to have this air about you, like, oh, I just know so much more, and you realize in that moment, as you're sitting there, as you're laying there in a village, everybody's sleeping away, and I'm going to die right here, and I'm no better than anyone else. And my knowledge, everything I know in this world is not worth a thing to me right now, and it's so humbling in that moment, and I could never go back to feeling that way again after that. So I was there for 10 more months.
Yeah.
But
so obviously you made it.
Yeah. No, I died. Yeah. No. So in my mind, I thought whatever it was that I just took drug-wise is what caused this to get worse, and so I literally forced myself to throw it out right there. And very soon after, my symptoms started to ease, and I started yelling for the one gentleman I knew there. I only knew one guy's name.
One guy.
I started yelling at the top of my lungs, waking up the whole village.
Obviously, you didn't wander too far then.
No, so I'm in a porch basically.
Okay.
That's still.
Yeah.
I started yelling his name from where I was laying. I couldn't even stand up.
Yeah.
I was just yelling, and all the people started gathering around me. I could just see like their shadows.
Yeah.
Eventually he came. Someone got him, I guess. And he strapped me to the back of a motorcycle, like literally tied me to him.
Wow.
And we went on the road 50 miles or so to the nearest hospital.
Good God.
And in the end, I just had food poisoning, really bad food poisoning. But then in my own actions that created
spiraled you down.
Yeah.
That's
So,
crazy.
That was the number one thing. But man, what a life lesson! Like literally, I could never look at life the same after that. And you realize that no matter what you do, what precaution you take, or how good you think you are, you're always
never
just
truly
a second away from it all being over.
Yeah.
And so you gotta live each moment, to its fullest.
Yeah.
So for other people, not just for yourself.
Yeah. That's cool. Hey man, thank you very much. Appreciate
No problem.
it. Thanks for sharing all that.
That's great.
Hope you guys enjoyed a little bit different kind of thing. I don't do too many interviews like this. I don't know, it's not been my deal yet. I'm not terribly comfortable running around with the camera at shows and stuff, but I really appreciate you having me down here too. It's been a good time, and now I'm gonna go snake shopping. I think maybe
Look at some snakes.
get something. All right, we'll talk to you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.